योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाभक्तिविनीतयः विनित्तिश्चाविवृता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। So today, being Vinayaka Chaturthi, so as per the request of Priya Shishya, we will start with an invocation on Vinayaka. Perhaps many of you would not have learnt this verse, which has been composed by the famous astronomer mathematician Bhaskaracharya. Bhaskaracharya has sung several brilliant verses as invocatory verses in various parts of his composition. So something could be on Surya, something could be on Vinayaka, something could be on Saraswati, but he was a great poet. So it may be a good idea to recollect the greatness of Bhaskara as well as the greatness of Vinayaka. So on this occasion with this verse. Usually we have several people describing Krishna's Bala Leela. Bhaskara seems to have imagined Vinayaka's Bala Leela. So the verse goes like this: Leela galalulalola kalavyala vilasine Ganeshaya namo neela kamala malakantaye. Simple Anushtubrita. Leela galalulalola kalavyala vilasine. You see the brilliant alliteration of the letter La. So if you count, I think you will get almost 10 syllables in the first half of the verse. So consisting of 16 syllables. 10 syllables are only Lakara. Leela galalulalo lakalavya vilasine. So this is an adjective to Ganesha. Ganeshaya namo neela kamala malakantaye. There are only two attributes. Neela kamala malakantaye Leela galalulalola kalavyala vilasine Ganeshaya namaha. So Neela kamala malakantaye is much more simpler to understand. So the one whose complexion is like that of Neela Kamala. So Kamala is lotus, Neela Kamala is blue lotus. So you can think of some dark violet color lotus. So something which is very, very similar to that. So this Vinayaka is described as the one who has a hue which is something very similar to the blue lotus. This could be little surprising for most of us because Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. So we describe him as Shashivarna. Shashivarna means one who is beautiful like the moonlight. Okay, Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet. But Bhaskaracharya portrays Vinayaka as Neela Kamala Malakantaye. So this puzzle will be resolved if you understand the first half of it from the viewpoint of a poet. So he first describes as Vilasine. Vilasine means one who is playing joyfully playing with something. Vilasi. Okay? So, Leela Galalulalola Kalavyala Vilasine. Playing with what? Kalavyala Vilasine. Vyala means serpent here. Vyala can mean various other things. Okay? Here, see, in fact, so justice may remember, Vyalam Bhalamrinaalatantu Bhirasahu Rodhum Samujrimbate. Anyway, so Vyala can mean, even elephant, Vyala can mean serpent. But anyway, something which is sort of very powerful and uncontrollable. Okay, anyway, we'll just take this Vyala as serpent. And Kala Sarpa means a black serpent, which is very dark in shade. Okay. So Kalavyala Vilasine Ganeshaya is playing. So now you can very easily understand the situation which the poet imagines. So you understand that Vinayaka is sitting on the lap of Shiva. So on Shiva's neck anyway you have the serpent. And the Swabhava serpent is not to keep quiet. It will always keep doing something. Okay. Either move up and down or swing like this. Okay. So that is how the serpent will be. Okay. So here two kinds of motions. One is the up and down motion. The other is oscillatory motion. These two are described by two words here. Lulalolat. See, lulati and lolati. So lulati means going up, swings up and down. So lolati swings horizontally. Okay. Lulalolat. This is very swabhavika of a serpent. Okay. We'll just show something like this. Cool. Leela galalulalola. Galalulalola means gala is neck. So in his father's neck, the serpent is playing around. Okay. And Vinayaka is playing around with that serpent. Leela galalulalola kalavya alavilasine. This is the attribute to Vinayaka. And then, now we should understand, in the light of this description, he has said Kalavyala. Okay. So Vinayaka is a little boy. Okay. So just imagine that when the child is playing around with something, and that too joyfully. Okay. So the face will be radiant. Okay. And the cheeks will be almost like a mirror. So that will sort of grasp the color of that. You understand? So this is how one can imagine. So the Kala Sarpa, okay, Kalavyala, so its shade so gets mirrored on the face of Vinayaka. So therefore, Neela Kamala Malakantaye. It is a beautiful poetic imagination. So Leela Galalulalo Lakalavya Vilasini Ganeshaya Namo Neela Kamala Malakantaye. So let us offer our prayers to Vinayaka and then move ahead with Shadashloki. Okay. So some of you who expressed interest in Leelavati, so now you have a teaser for joining the course. So he is a brilliant composer, Bhaskara. Okay, now let us get on to this Shatashloki. So we have done up to 61. So let us start with 57. यत्किञ्चित् भात्य सत्यं व्यवहृति विषये रौप्यसर्पाम्बुमुख्यं तद्वै सत्याश्रयेणेत्ययमिह नियमः सावधर्लोकसिद्धः तद्वत् सत्यस्य सत्ये जगदखिलमिदं ब्रह्मणि प्राविरासीत् मिथ्याभूतं प्रतीतं भवति खलु यतः तच्च सत्यं वदन्ति. यत्राकाशावकाशः कलयति च कलामात्रतां यत्र कालः यत्रैवाशावसानं बृहदिह हि विराट् पूर्वमर्वागिवास्ते सूत्रं यत्राविरासीत् महदपि महतः तद्धि पूर्णाच्च पूर्णम् सम्पूर्णादर्णवादेः अपि भवति यथा पूर्णमेकार्णवम्भः अन्तः सर्वौषधीनां पृथगमितरसैः गन्धवीर्यैर्विपाकैः एकं पाथोदपाथः परिणमति यथा तद्वदेवान्तरात्मा नानाभूतस्वभावैः वहति वसुमती येन विश्वं पयोदः वर्षत्युच्चैर्हुताशः पचति दहति वा येन सर्वान्तरोऽसौ भूतेष्वात्मानमात्मन्यनुगतमखिलम् भूतजातं प्रपश्येत् प्राज्ञः पाथस्तरङ्गान्वयवदथ चिरम् सर्वमात्मैव पश्येत् एकं ब्रह्मा द्वितीयं श्रुतिभिर्विहितं नेह नानास्ति किञ्चित् मृत्योराप्नोति मृत्युं सैह जगदिदं यस्तु नानेव पश्येत् प्राक्पश्चादस्ति कुम्भात् गगनमिदमिति प्रत्यये सत्यपीदम् कुम्भोत्पत्तावुदेदि प्रलयमुपगते नश्यतीत्यन्यदेतत् अन्यदेशं नीते कुम्भेन साकम् व्रजति भजति वा तत्प्रमाणानुकारौ इत्थं मिथ्याप्रतीतिः स्फुरतिदनुभृतां विश्वतस्तद्वदात्मा. So the verse which we just chanted gives the drishtanta of Akasha to make us understand that this jiva, the various things, seem to be having janma and marana, so which is not really true. So it is like Akasha. So with the creation of Upadhi, so this Atman seems to have birth, and with the destruction of Upadhi, Atman seems to have death. So Prak Paschat Asti. Okay. So though we may not be able to see, it exists. So that is what he was trying to convey. The next verse, Acharya tries to bring in a couple of more drishtantas, which I don't see present in Upanishads per se. Something similar to that you may find, but not exactly identical to this. So we'll read the verse and then we'll try to understand. Yavan pindo gudasya
Yavan pindo gudasya Yavan pindo gudasya
Spurati madhurimai vasti sarvopi tavan Spurati madhurimai vasti sarvopi tavan स्फुरति मधुरिमैवास्ति सर्वोऽपि तावान् यावान् कर्पूरपिण्डः
यावान् कर्पूरपिण्डः यावान् कर्पूरपिण्डः
परिणमति सदा मोद एवात्र तावान्
परिणमति सदा
मोद एवात्र तावान् परिणमति सदा मोद एवात्र तावान् विश्वं यावद्विभाति
विश्वं यावद्विभाति विश्वं यावद्विभाति
द्रुमनगनगरा रामचैत्याभिरामम् द्रुमनगनगरा रामचैत्याभिरामम् द्रुमनगनगरा रामचैत्याभिरामम् तावच्चैतन्यमेकम्
तावच्चैतन्यमेकम् तावच्चैतन्यमेकम्
प्रविकसति यतः
प्रविकसति यतः प्रविकसति यतः
तत्तदात्मावशेषम् 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 यावान् पिण्डो गुडस्य स्फुरति मधुरिमैवास्ति सर्वोऽपि तावान् Yavan Pindaha. The word Pinda basically refers to some chunk of some material. Okay. So it can be the length of some segment. Okay. So in the linear measure. So we call Pindajya, Khandajya and so on. So Pinda. And when we offer some bali etc. Okay, for devatas, then also it is called Pinda. Okay, some chunk of some material. So whether it is volumetric measure or whether it is aerial measure or it is linear measure, you use the word Pinda. So here it is a volumetric usage. So Gudasya, Guda is Jagari. He says Yavan Pindo Gudasya Spurati Madhurimaiva Asti Sarvo Pitavan Madhurimaiva Spurati. So take a piece of Guda and you just put it into your mouth. So till it completely dissolves. So you will only get sweetness. Okay. So what is Guda? Guda is essentially sweetness. Okay. Yavan Pindo Gudasya, not this part, that part, etc. Okay. So the entire Guda, Guda Pinda is essentially sweetness. Madhurimaiva asti Sarvo Pitavan Madhurimaiva asti. So now he says the next example Yavahan Karpura Pindaha. Similarly, think of camphor. So Karpurasya Pindaha. Yavan Karpura Pindaha Parinamati Sada Moda Evatra Tavan. So the entire Karpura Pinda transforms into Amoda. Amoda here means fragrance. Okay. Parinamati turns into fragrance. It can be either by burning or it can be due to evaporation, whatever it is. Either way. So you just keep some camphor, so it will get completely evaporated. Okay. So whichever way, it gets transformed into fragrance. Okay. So the entire pinda of Karpura so transforms into some fragrance. the entire pinda of Guda gets transformed into sweetness. Okay, once you taste it. As it is, it will remain as pinda. Yavan pindo gudasya sphurati madhurimaiva sarvo madhurimaivaasti sarvo vidavan yavan karpura pindaha parinamati sada modayevatra tavan. Okay? So this is what is happening. this word sada moda. So there are two ways of splitting. How will you split? Sada amodaha. This is one way of splitting. Sada amodaha, suppose you say. Good fragrance, good smell. Okay. So sada modaha. Okay. Sada modayevatra tavan. In fact, this karpura, nowadays, even my grandfather used to say, it is not at all good, something like that. So there are various qualities. So in those days, this was one of the special products. If you look into these examples of these texts also, they talk of this karpura as a vasana dravya. Maybe today still something is a pacha karpuram, something. So that which is used at least in Tirupati laddus. So they are of good quality. So anyway, so this is something. Sada modayeva tratavan Vishwam yavad vibhati. These two are examples. Now he comes to explain something which he has to explain in the context of Vedanta. Vishwam yavad vibhati drumanagara ramachaitya bhiramam. Drumanaga Nagararama Chaityabhiramam is adjective to Vishwa. So this Vishwam, this Jagat that you see, Vishwam Yavad Vibhati. Yavad Vibhati can either be spatial, either be temporal. Okay? Yavad Vishwam Vibhati. As much as you see, as long as you see, both ways one can take it. And how does it present itself? Vibhati means it presents itself, it is noticed, etc. Yavad vibhati. And then he graphically describes Druma Naga Nagara Rama Chaitya. How many words are there? Druma Naga Nagara Arama Chaitya. Abhiramam. Abhirama is something different. So 5 entities are listed. So Etaihi Abhiramam. So these 5 things. Etaihi Abhiramam. Abhiramam means something which is glowing, which is tempting and so on. Okay? Something which shines like this. Okay? Or which generates some sort of pleasure in you. So all these things which have been listed are sources of comfort, pleasure and so on. We'll just see that. These 5 elements. So Druma. Druma means? Druma. Druma means tree. Okay? Kalpadruma, we just say. Okay? Kalpadruma. We also use Kalpadruhu. Druhu is also used. Druma is also used. Okay, to refer to tree. So how does this word get formed? So this is something which is very interesting. So there is a sutra which has been written by Panini to explain the formation of this word. That itself is very interesting. So the sutra is very short sutra. Okay. Yudrubhyamaha. Repeat. Yudrubhyamaha.
Yudrubhyamaha.
That's all. Simple sutra. So Dyu and Dru. So if these two words are there, then he says a suffix called ma pratyaya is added to that. Yudrubhyamaha. So in the derivation of this sutra explanation, so we will find from the context that this suffix is added to that as a matvartha pratyaya. Okay, tasyedam, it is in that sense. Okay, as a tadasyasmin iti. So tadasyasmin. So this is matvarthe. So there are various suffixes which get added. So one of them is maha. He lists a few of them. So ini pratyaya will be there and so on. So this is ma pratyaya has been given. So dhru, ma you will get. Then what is this dhru then? So if you say druma is tree, so then so tadasyasmin, so then dhru should mean something else. What is that something else? So suppose you say dhani. So it is a ini pratyaya. So after dhana you add ini. So the one who possesses. Dhanam is dhani. So if you add this matupu, then you will get dhanavan. So you can say dhanavan, you can say guni, gunavan, guni, something like that. Okay. So here, dhru. You don't have the usage druman. Okay. So for some words you will find so that matubarthe. But that is why the usage in the loka, that is why this special sutra. That is all I wanted to convey. The message I wanted to convey through this was, in order to convey that this possesses something, so you generally add matu pratyaya, but some forms are there in usage where you don't quickly realize that it is so, but that is so, that which possesses. So one of the examples is drumaha. Now this druhu should be taken as shakha. If you want to understand the word as druma, so druhu, so shakha. So if you take druhu as shakha, that which possesses branches. Okay. So that which possesses branches. Okay. Now, how can you use the word referring to tree to refer to branches? So this is something which we generally use. Suppose I ask, where is the parrot? What will you say? The parrot is sitting on the tree. So where is it sitting? Shakha. Where is the monkey means? So it is. So you use the word to refer to even a part by the name which is referring to the total. Okay. So this is a general nyaya. Okay. Samudaye pravrittaha shabdaha avayavepi prayujyante. So this is a general rule. And in fact, you can even understand with a much better example, which all of us would have heard in some occasion. So you may say that the entire village is crying. Okay. So village crying means, so those who are in the village, they will be crying. So what I am trying to say is, so that, so in order to refer to a part, sometimes you use the whole word itself. So that depends on various contexts. Why you want to use in a specific context, you have to understand that. But so this is a general rule that you have to keep in mind. Okay. So karanavachaka shabdaha karye prayujyate. Avayavavachaka shabdaha avayavini prayujyate. So this converse is also true. So it all depends on the prayoga. Now, if you take druhu as shakha, so then drumaha means that which possesses shakha refers to tree. But if you take druhu as tree itself, will you still be able to explain the formation of druma? Yes, because the next tree comes out of only this tree. So this is very true of some trees. You understand? So if you want to have one more plantain, So that will offshoot from there. Even if we take a mango tree, so the seed is produced by tree, and then only further tree can. So tadasyasmin asti means, so even that way you can understand this druma formation. Okay. So this is how. What is the sutra? Dyudrubhyam maha. Dyudrubhyam maha. Okay. Now, what is the Dyumaha? Dyumaha. See, Dyumaha is used to refer to Akasha. They are also the same case. Dyu can also refer to space, and Dyumaha also refers to. But the point here to understand is, you don't use the word, or rather the world doesn't use Dyuman or Druman, but it only uses Drumaha, Dyumaha. Okay, so that is what we need to understand. And Dyu is actually is an Adesha which comes to the word Div. Div means something which is celestial. Okay, so that remains in space. So Div can also refer to this Swarga, Devaha and so on. So those who reside there, Kutra Akashe. Okay. So in that sense, Dyumaha is Akasha, that which possesses. Okay, so Druma Nagara. Okay. Naga is generally used to refer to mountains, hillocks, mountains. The derivation is Nagachati. Okay, Nagachati Nagaha. One can ask this question: why should one say Nagachati? I know. So one can say it is a description of the characteristic, but one can also understand this, that there is a description that you find in various places in some of these creatures, that apparently they also could move. Okay, so and in fact Indra is described to be the one who cut the wings of the mountains. Okay, so this is some description which you find. So they cannot move anymore. See, so that which could move cannot move anymore. So Nagaha. Okay, Nagaha. Then Nagara. So Nagara is also derived. So say Nagaiva. So there are the prasadas which we find in Nagara. Nagara is basically a place where you will find some big structures. Okay, even in those days. Okay, so Nagara is a densely populated place where you will find some big permanent structures. Okay, so then we can just say Nagara. See, so Nagaha iva, so prasadadayaha bhavanani vidyante yatra. Okay, so there is a ra suffix which is added to that, so to convey that this is a place. So that is how the word Nagara formation is also explained. So Druma Naga Nagara Rama. Then Arama. So Arama, we already had. Garden. Okay. So the Arama is used to refer to where you can enjoy. See, Atma Ramascha Munayaha Nirgrantha Apyurukrami Kurvanti Haitukim Bhaktim Itham Bhuta Guno Harihi. This is a beautiful verse. Atma Ramaha means one who is happily dwelling with oneself. So a place where one can happily dwell is Arama. So in that sense, we can use it to refer to garden. Okay. So Aram of Pushpavatika. They generally say Aram of Pushpavatika. So Arama, then Chaitya. So Chaityam. So Chaityam, generally it is used in the context of this Buddhist viharas. So one can understand this word in two ways. So here one can understand where people keep dwelling. So who makes some intellectual discussions, deep thinking, etc. Okay, this is one way to understand the word Chaityam. So the other way to understand is simply Ayatanam. Ayatanam means a place where people dwell for a specific purpose, or you place something, even a Devata Pratisthana. So Chaitya Vandanam is also used. So this Devatas, this Grama Devatas, etc., they are also referred to by the word Chaitya. So Chaitya is a place, okay, so where you install a Devata, or where some intellectuals gather and keep practicing something. Okay, so it is, in that sense it is used. Or you assemble for doing a specific prayer. So this is how this Chaitya. Now this Vishwam, he is saying, so he is essentially filled with these kinds of things. Okay, Druma Nagar Nagara Rama Chaityihi Abhiramam, that which is shining like this. Druma Nagar Nagara Rama Chaitya Abhiramam. Then Tavat Chaitanyamekam Pravikasati Yato Tattade Tattadatma Vashesham Pravikasati Yataha Tavat Chaitanyamekam. So this Yavat and Tavat has to be connected. Okay. So this phrase Tavat Chaitanyamekam, so whether you take from the viewpoint of space or you take from the viewpoint of time. Okay. So as far as you can see, as long as you can see, he says Chaitanyamekam Pravikasati. It is this one Chaitanya which is dwelling everywhere. Tavat Chaitanyamekam Pravikasati. Yataha tattadatma vashesham. Tat atma vashesham. So there are two tat here. Okay. So yataha, the way we can understand is yataha ekam chaitanyam. Okay. Yataha, since it is one Chaitanya which is so exhibiting itself, manifesting itself in all these forms, it is one Chaitanya. Yataha ekam chaitanyam pravikasati, tavat, in all these things. Tataha, first tat is to be understood as tataha. So the second tat refers to the see, that Chaitanyam. See, this the second tat is Vishwam. So first tat, tattadatma vashesham, when you say, the first tat clubs with yataha. Yataha tataha. So tat should be understood as tataha. Tena hetuna. So yataha ekam chaitanyam eva pravikasati. Tat tena hetuna. Tat atma vashesham. Okay, tat vishwam atma vashesham. Atma vashesham means, if you analyze, so it will end with atma. Okay, atma vashesham. Okay, so this is to be understood with the light of these two examples which he provided. So it may look like this, but it is essentially sweetness. It may look like this, but it is essentially the fragrance. It will just get dissolved into at a later time. So similarly here, these two should remind us of this Satan Chidamsha. Okay, so this Sadamsha and Chidamsha is what you see in this entire world. Okay, and therefore Atma Vashesham, so it reduces to Atman. Okay, so that is what he is trying to convey here. Let us read this. Yavan pindo gudasya spurati madhurimai vasti sarvo pitavan यावान् कर्पूरपिण्डः परिणमति सदा मोदयेवात्र तावान् विश्वं यावद्विभाति द्रुमनगनगरामचैत्याभिरामम् तावच्चैतन्यमेकम् प्रविकसति यतः तत्तदात्मावशेषम्. The next verse is based on a few mantras which we find in Brihadaranyaka, inspired by that. In the second adhyaya, we find some mantras. I will come to those mantras after chanting this verse. वाद्यान्नादानुभूतिः
वाद्यान्नादानुभूतिः वाद्यान्नादानुभूतिः
यदपि तदपि सा
यदपि तदपि सा यदपि तदपि सा
नूनमाघातगम्या
नूनमाघातगम्या नूनमाघातगम्या
वाद्याघातध्वनीनाम्
वाद्याघातध्वनीनाम् वाद्याघातध्वनीनाम्
न पृथगनुभवः
न पृथगनुभवः न पृथगनुभवः
किन्तु तत्साहचर्यात्
किन्तु तत्साहचर्यात् किन्तु तत्साहचर्यात्
मायोपादानमेतत्
मायोपादानमेतत् मायोपादानमेतत्
सहचरितमिव
सहचरितमिव सहचरितमिव
ब्रह्मणा भाति तद्वत्
ब्रह्मणा भाति तद्वत् ब्रह्मणा भाति तद्वत्
तस्मिन् प्रत्यक्प्रतीते
तस्मिन् प्रत्यक्प्रतीते तस्मिन् प्रत्यक्प्रतीते
न किमपि विषयीभावमाप्नोति यस्मात्
न किमपि विषयीभावमाप्नोति यस्मात् न किमपि विषयीभावमाप्नोति यस्मात्.
So this this verse is based on the mantra which goes as स यथा दुन्दुभेर्हन्यमानस्य न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शक्नुयात् ग्रहणाय दुन्दुभेस्तु ग्रहणेन दुन्दुभ्याघातस्य वा शब्दो गृहीतः स यथा वीणायै वाद्यमानायै. So there are three examples that is there in Brihadaranyaka. One is Dundubhi, the other is Shankha, the other is Veena. Almost all of them will go in a similar manner. स यथा वीणायै वाद्यमानायै न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शक्नुयात् ग्रहणाय वीणायै तु ग्रहणेन वीणावादस्य वा शब्दो गृहीतः. This is how it goes. Here this mantra is somewhat tricky to understand, but I will try to explain it. So one can take the bhashya also. So those who are fairly familiar with Sanskrit and Vedanta also may find this bhashya a little tricky, quite involved. But I was quite fascinated when I read this bhashya today. So when it was first instance, I mean, it was not at all clear. So 2-3 times after reading, so one could see. So the amount of thought process that has gone in trying to extract this beautiful message from this mantra. So here, this verse as it is, let us quickly see. Vadyat nadanubhutihi yadapi tadapi sa nunamaghatagambya. Suppose you say mridangam is being played. Okay? Any vadya. It can be veena, it can be dundubhi, as he is saying, bherya. So there are various kinds of drums. Okay. So the drummers will simultaneously keep beating 8-9 drums. So these also we can see almost one after the other, or simultaneously two things. So the noise that gets generated out of these instruments, okay, these percussion instruments, has a certain distinct dhvani. Okay, the noise that is getting generated, so through some other thing, has a distinct feature. So if it is veena, it is something. If it is violin, it is something. Okay, the sound that gets generated. When it is a mixed sound, so you call it noise. So where the frequencies are completely jumbled up, you don't know. But when it is within something, you call it some melodious sound, this, that. Whatever it is. So we'll just take one thing now. So let us take one percussion instrument. Let us say tabla or mridangam. The sound we will immediately associate that this is from nadaswaram, this is from veena, this is from violin, this is from mridangam, this is from the drum in whatever it is. But this is actually generated out of that beating, that hit on the instrument. That hit can be with stick, it can be with fingers, whatever. So veenayi vadyamanayi means when this instrument is being played, when this percussion instrument is being hit, dundubher hanyamanasya, there it is vadyamanasya. Okay. Now within this itself, you will see that there are a variety of sounds that can be produced. Okay. There was one person called Kunnakudi Vaidyanathan. He used to play amazing things with this violin. Okay, suddenly it will look like drum kind of, whatever it is, but you will be still seeing that it is generated out of veena, violin. Now even this tabla, okay, but see, there may be a variety of specific sounds produced by them, but all of them you will associate with that instrument. So though it may vary, but you will be able to associate with that. So that is what one has to keep in mind now. There is a Vishesha Shabda, there is a Samanya Jnanam. Okay? The Samanya Jnanam associated with all the Visheshas makes you realize that all these Visheshas are generated through that Samanya, irrespective of whatever you see. So it can be in this pitch, that pitch, etc. So this may look like this. Each one has its own characteristic, but all these characteristics will be connected with that instrument. Understand? All these Visheshas are connected with that instrument. So all these Visheshas cannot be understood without that Samanya. Okay? So the general knowledge that is generated out of this instrument is Samanya Jnana. Okay? So now what he is trying to say here is Vadyaha ghata dhvaninam. Dhvaninam means several frequencies of varying rhythms that you are able to hear. But all of them will be connected with that one instrument. Okay? Vadyaha ghatadhvaninam na prithaganubhavaha. This prithaganubhavaha means, so you cannot mistake this to be from some other instrument. You understand? Prithak means I want to hear this alone without connecting to that is not possible. So you may not know that instrument, but once you know that, that is specific to that. That is all he is trying to say. Vadyaha ghatadhvaninam. Prithaganubhavaha means without connecting it to something. Na prithaganubhavaha kintu tat sahacharyat. Sahacharyat means, so it is associated with that. Okay, so along with that instrument. So there are specific things associated with certain things, and these specifics themselves are connected to much larger instrument per se. Okay, tat sahacharyat nunam aghataganya. One aspect is that it is generated through aghata, and all these aghatas which produce different tones of music, okay, they are all connected with one sort of an instrument. Okay, these two things we should keep in mind. So now he says, Mayopadana metat sahacharitamibha brahmana bhati tadvat. Similarly, Mayopadana metat etat. Here this refers to the Vishwam. You have to take from the previous verse. Etat Vishwam. This has Maya as its upadana. Mayopadana metat sahacharitamibha brahmana bhati. Brahmana sahacharitamibha bhati. This is a very interesting usage. I was just thinking for a while, some time ago, that here we find the Tritiya supplied with Brahma, Brahmana. Putrena saha pita agachati. Suppose you say. So Tritiya is used to Putra. So there is an agamana kriya. Okay. So arrival. Pita agachati is where the primary verb gets connected. Okay. Putrena saha agachati. There is a sutra in Panini. Sahayukte apradhani. Okay. So then I was just thinking whether this Brahma is apradhana. Brahma is pradhana or apradhana. But then after a while, so it just occurred to me that this is a brilliant usage which Bhagavad Pada has made. Bhati. Bhati means, so in that kriya, when you want to describe a certain kriya, with reference to that kriya, he is pradhana and he is apradhana. You understand? So the putra may be pradhana. So this father may be insignificant person. But when you describe this action with reference to this action, that is pradhana and that is apradhana. So this is how the Vyakarana grammar goes. Now here what is being described is your perception is what is described. In your perception you see only Nama Rupatmaka Prapancha and not Brahman, and therefore that is apradhana. Okay. Brahmana sahacharitamibha bhati. You find also Iva is used, beautiful usage. So it looks as if the Brahman is apradhana, and that is how you perceive the world. Mayopadana metat. So that has become very important for you. You have missed the essence. So this has been beautifully indicated by this usage by Bhagavad Pada. Okay. Mayopadana metat sahacharitamibha brahmana bhati. So how do you actually understand this with the example? So the example was given in order to indicate that you cannot see this without connecting to that instrument. Whether you know that instrument or not, there is a different thing. But it is definitely connected with that. Okay. So sahacharitamibha brahmana bhati. Okay. So this is how it presents itself. So yadvat tadvat. Similar to that. Sahacharitam means they go together. So that Shabda Samanya and Shabda Vishesha generated by that, they go together. That instrument and the Shabda generated. Okay. Tasmin pratyak pratite. Now Bhagavad Pada says, Tasmin pratyak pratite. Pratyak pratite here means pratyaktvena pratite. Okay? Pratyatvena pratite means that Brahman which was referred to earlier, if that is understood to be this Atman, what does this mean? Idam sarvam yadayam atma. That anubhava is what is referred to. Okay? So tasmin yad ayam atma, it is this Atman which is there everywhere. So this is the anubhava that he is referring to. But this anubhava has become apratana earlier. So what is seen, this sadanugama is there in prapancha, this chidanugama is there in prapancha. But those two aspects, okay, so has been sort of made secondary in our pratiti. And when this is understood, it is this Chaitanya, tasmin pratyak pratite, then what happens? Na kimapi vishayi bhavamapnoti yasmat. Na kimapi vishayi bhavamapnoti means, so only when there is a second thing which is different from this, then it can become the Vishaya of your perception. Vishayi bhava means becoming an object of your perception. So this is not possible. Na vishayi bhavamapnoti, kimapi na vishayi bhavamapnoti. So yasmat, see, yasmat here means yasmat hetoho idam sarvam prakashate. Okay? Through the Brahman being the cause of all this, etat sarvam prakashate. Okay? So as we were trying to explain in various other places. So that entity may be described as sattva, chittva and so on. So which may be intangible, but the tangible world owes its existence to that. So yasmat tasmin pratite. That entity, if it is understood as Atman, which is present everywhere, pratyak pratite na kimapi vishayi bhavamapnoti. So then there is no objectification. So that itself completely ceases. Now let me very quickly explain one or two sentences here, and then we will read the verse and wind up the class. So this sa yatha dundubher hanyamanasya nabahyan chabdan chakmiyat. There Bhagavat Pada, so he commences the commentary like this. Katham punaha idanim idam sarvam atmaiveti grahitum shakyate. Idanim idam sarvam atmaiva, how will you be able to do? So it is the avatarika to this mantra. So then he says, Chinmatra anugamat sarvatra. Chinmatra anugamat sarvatra means in all the dhvanis that is generated by this veena, irrespective of the raga, irrespective of various other things. So it is veena dhvani. So similarly, this Chinmatra anugamat sarvatra chit swarupataiveti gamyate. Tatra drishtantaha uchyate. He says, this is a very interesting phrase. You just think about it. Yat swarupa vyatirekena agrahanam yasya tasya tadatmattvameva loke drishtam. If this phrase is understood, even then this mantra has a little difficulty, but we will just explain this phrase now. Yat swarupa vyatirekena agrahanam yasya tasya tadatmattvameva loke drishtam. Vyatirekena means something which is separate from that. So yat swarupa vyatirekena agrahanam yasya. So agrahanam yasya means, suppose you know that this is the noise that gets, or rather, it is a beautiful melodious sound that gets generated from this veena. So there are some veenas which you will not be able to replicate. So this is something very peculiar tones. So because I heard something in Mysore, so he was just saying this is 150 years old veena. So that specific frequency, that specific melody, etc. So that is very specific. So now if you are tuned to that, Yat Swarupa. So sometimes I just, as a complete ignoramus. So these people will be tuning this. I always wonder what are they doing for 5 minutes before starting this. And similarly, this drum also they will keep on hitting tock 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 tock. So I will not be able to, but there is something which they understand from that. Okay, so that is how we have to understand. But the point is, Yatsvarupa Vyatirekena Agrahanam means you will not be able to understand this without associating this to that. Is what it means. Yatsvarupa Vyatirekena Agrahanam Yasya Tasya Tadatmattameva Loke Drishtam. So Tadatmattam means irrespective of various frequencies that come out of it, you will be not able to dissociate this from that. So the various frequencies that you are able to hear as distinct all have to be connected to that instrument. Okay, so this is what this basically means. So this similarly, whatever you may see here, this sadatmakatvam is something which you cannot pull out of the prapancha, and therefore you may have to associate to that Atman, which is Satsvarupa. So that is the message, so which is being conveyed through this verse. So we will read this verse and wind the class today. वाद्यान्नादानुभूतिः यदपि तदपि सा नूनमाघातगम्या वाद्याघातध्वनीनां न पृथगनुभवः किन्तु तत्साहचर्यात् मायोपादानमेतत् सहचरितमिव ब्रह्मणा भाति तद्वत् तस्मिन् प्रत्यक्प्रतीते न किमपि विषयीभावमाप्नोति यस्मात्। ॐ सर्वे सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ